Governor Chris Christie is rolling out his new reform agenda with a series of town hall meetings. In Raritan Township, Christie highlighted ethics reforms that take on some sacred cows of New Jersey politics, starting with equal treatment for the governor and the lawmakers when it comes to financial disclosure.
Now, I know you'll find this hard to believe, but the legislature has not subjected themselves to the idea of detailed financial disclosure. This is particularly interesting given that we have a part-time legislature. A part-time legislature that has to, by its very nature, have other financial interests in order to support themselves. Legislators of both parties remind me all the time that they are in a co-equal branch of government. That's fine. I understand it. I've read the Constitution. So now let's apply the same rules of disclosure and ethics to you that are applied to me. I'm living under them right now. And much to my wife's horror, she read all about everything we have on the front page of the newspaper a couple of weeks ago. So I want to share the joy with everybody else.
The governor's reforms would completely ban holding two elected offices and would force lawmakers to disclose conflicts of interest. Right now, lawmakers only have to recuse themselves if they feel it's necessary.
You guys have gotten to know me over the last number of years. I'm as feeling a guy as anybody. But I don't think that we should set up a system where we're counting on how anybody feels about their conflict. Recuse from voting on that bill. Do not vote on the bill because of your conflict, or you must make strict disclosure of that conflict at the time you're making the vote. So put it out there to the public that you represent, that I have this conflict, but I don't feel like it affects my vote. And then the public can determine if they feel like it affected your vote.
Under Christie's proposals, officials who are convicted of crimes would no longer get a state pension and would have to forfeit their campaign funds. Officials would also be limited to one public salary.
I say one public salary rather than one public job for this reason. I don't want to prevent a police officer, a firefighter, a teacher from running for public office. We should not have multiple public salaries that the taxpayers are paying for. If you want to serve, then serve in the true spirit of public service and serve without salary if that's what you choose to do.
Christie took questions from a largely receptive crowd, but there were some people who questioned his reforms and his leadership style.
All his cuts are coming on the backs of the lower and middle class. He is not asking the upper class to chip in one penny to help us. And that's the thing that has so many people who work in education and in the public sector furious.
I think it's primarily his antagonistic style that I find offensive, and I think that's his major problem. He seems to be angry, antagonistic, and always on the offensive.
If what you want to do is put on a show and giggle every time I talk, well then I have no interest in answering your question. So if you guys
I give the man a lot of credit. He's straightforward, and that's what you got to be. And I think if everybody in this country was that way, we'd never have a problem.
It's absolutely embarrassing that the elected officials have no ethics, no honor. And I think it's about time that we have ethics throughout all government officials, local, county, state, and federal.